Christine Chandler has been charged with engaging in sex crimes against a family member.
Whoo! My God, this is going to be a doozy of a video. Chris Chan, aka Christine Weston Chandler, has officially been arrested for sleeping with his 80-year-old mother. Who is Chris Chan, you might ask? Well, Chris is a high-functioning, autistic, transgender woman who claims to be married to Mewtwo, and his mother suffers from dementia. God damn! The internet is a messed up place, a place that people like Chris Chan should probably avoid entirely. Now, Chris Chan may very well be the most documented person in internet history and one of the most trolled people ever. This one YouTuber named Geno Samuel has a 59-part series that details Chris's entire life, over 30 hours of footage. So if you're interested in absolute rigorous detail about Chris Chan's life, go over to Geno Samuel's channel and check it out. But I'd like to talk about some of the most interesting sagas in Chris Chan's life and what led up to him sleeping with his mother. Now, Chris's first two appearances in the public eye actually came from the news. The first of which was when he was 12 years old. He won some Sonic the Hedgehog sweepstakes challenge where he got $1,000. Check this clip out.
What I had to do was exactly watch Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon and I'd listen to what Sonic says at the end of it.
5 years later, in 1999, he appeared on the news again when they were doing a story about the popularity of Pokemon. He can be seen here, sitting on the floor, battling a fellow trainer. Soon after this clip, Chris Chan would create his magnum opus, when in a graphic design class, he had to create a CD jewel case that could not feature any copyrighted characters. To circumvent the dilemma, Chris Chan combined Sonic and Pikachu to create Sonichu. Sort of a hodgepodge mix-up of the two characters, and something that possibly caused Chris more grief than he could ever imagine. 4 years later, Chris would begin producing crudely drawn comics about the Sonichu character that have now gained internet infamy. These comics were set in a fictional world called Quickville that stand for Christian Weston Chandler, his initials. The comic revolved around Rose Chu, Sonichu, and Chris, who appeared to be Sonichu's father in the comic, oddly enough. Now, if you were one of Chris's enemies, you might find yourself appearing in the Sonichu comic series, getting brutally murdered and ripped apart, or having some horrible thing happen to you. So these comics would be what would first draw the internet's attention to Chris Chan. Specifically from the websites 4chan, Kiwi Farms, and Encyclopedia Dramatica. On these websites, people developed somewhat of a sick obsession with Chris's life. Something that was exacerbated by Chris's willingness to interact with these trolls and his complete and utter inability to learn from his past mistakes.
Black and I, well, she broke up with me because the pickle man tricked me again.
Chris's trolls would repeatedly impersonate women and trick him into sending lewd photos and videos of himself, as well as doing and saying ridiculous things for their enjoyment.
You know, I look forward to the eventuality of you and me having our sex time together.
This is me in my super mode.
Damn stupid. I got a goddamn motherfucking cis-inch cock with 4-inch diameter.
I am recording this video to relinquish the false stupid rumors of me having anything to do with the recent death of Billy Mays.
On one occasion, a troll convinced Chris to send them his prized Sonichu medallion, only to have that same troll send him a video of them smashing the medallion in a cruel display of trolling ability. See, Chris had become what Kiwi Farms refers to as a lol cow, a person whose eccentric or foolish behavior can be exploited to amuse onlookers. And Chris became one of the most milked lol cows in Kiwi Farms history. Regardless of whether this is morally right or wrong, one thing is for sure. Chris would constantly feed the trolls exactly what they were looking for. And some of this stuff just gets straight up nasty, boy. In this clip, Chris can be seen eating his own semen.
Here's some of my cum I just managed to pour out. Oh, thumbs up.
And in this next clip, after it's revealed that Chris was trolled to eat his own semen, he still comes forward and claims he enjoys eating his own semen.
I recycle my own semen so that way I won't lose any unborn children.
One infamous troll named Liquid Chris began impersonating Chris Chan and convinced the real Chris Chan that he was an impersonator. Miraculously, Chris Chan fell for this and thought he had to convince the internet that he was the real Chris Chan, even though it was obvious that Liquid Chris was just trolling him.
Captain's log. Stardate. July 29th, 2009.
Captain's log. Stardate. August 11th, 2009. He is not the true Christian Wested Chandler. This Ian Brandon Anderson also wants to make love to dogs. My name is not Ian Brandon something!
I am Christian Weston Chandler!
With the many elaborate trolling events being heavily documented online, sagas were created to break down eras in Chris Chan's life, many of which revolved around relationships that Chris got into with catfishing trolls that portrayed themselves as women to torment him. Time and time again, Chris would fall for these tricks, probably because of his fervent desire to find a girlfriend, something that he himself called his love quest. See, this whole love quest thing started around the time Chris was in high school. He used to spend a lot of time with the girls at his high school. He called them his gal pals. But of course, as soon as he graduated, these gal pals went on about their business. So the 18-year-old virgin Chris embarked on his love quest, where he was in search for a boyfriend-free girl. He would lurk around his community college and various stores, putting up signs that looked like this. Essentially an IRL advertisement looking for a girlfriend, where he noted his requirements were as follows. They must be 18 to 22, not black or brown, and of course, above all, boyfriend free. In this advertisement, Chris prompted men to mind their own business, and in somewhat of an ironic twist of fate, the now transgender Christine Weston Chandler outed herself as a starch homophobe.
And hopefully in due time or now, each and every one of you will stay straight. You know, girl for boy, boy for girl, and most importantly, please stay straight.
So I tell you for sure and for true that I am straight.
He even went as far as to make music about his problems with the ladies, like this song titled Virgin with Rage.
I never wanna hear I have a boyfriend. Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with rage.
His love quest led to him creating the term noviophobia, which in a mixed mash of English and Spanish means he is afraid of girls that have boyfriends. These love quest advertisements also led to him being banned from his community college and banned from the mall. But these were not the only places he was banned from. Chris frequented a store called Game Place, where he was known for throwing temper tantrums and scaring little kids into tears. In 2008, he was permanently banned from the store by Michael Snyder, the owner, for having a racist outburst towards a black patron. Chris took to YouTube to make an apology video.
I wish to apologize to Michael Snyder for that mistake I made over 9 months ago that got me kicked out of the Game Place.
Despite this video, Chris's apology was not accepted, and Snyder upheld his ban of Chris Chan from Game Place. 3 years later, Chris and his mother Barbara returned to the store to try and speak with Michael Snyder. This somehow ended with Chris's mom Barbara hitting Mr. Snyder with her car and fleeing the scene, leading to her and Chris's arrest soon after. At some point around this time, the homophobic Chris Chan began transitioning from male to female and changed his name to Christine.
I was quite homophobic at the time, but then when I came out as myself a lesbian trans woman, I have realized that I am part of the LGBTQ community.
One day, Christine became very distraught. Over what, you might ask? Well, Sega, the creator of Sonic, decided to change Sonic's arms from tan to blue. Naturally, this sent Christine into a rage, so she did what any level-headed autistic person would do, and she went to her local GameStop and proceeded to pepper spray one of the clerks there in the face.
Don't call anybody.
This brave act of vengeance again resulted in her arrest. In typical Chris fashion, he learned a valuable lesson from all this, and the very next week he went into Walmart trying to act like a badass and whipped out his pepper spray again and got banned from Walmart. In 2018, Chris was banned from the Too Many Games convention after he was caught inappropriately touching the people there and even kissing somebody on the mouth without their permission. This led to her having this mental breakdown. Also in 2018, around the time he had been tricked into shitting on the floor, slapping himself in the face, and slapping his mother in the face, Chris claimed to be gearing up for the inevitable dimensional merge.
The dimensional merge. Yes, this dimension, right here, 1218. It's going to be merged with our sister dimension, C197.
Essentially, this universe and all of the universes of cartoon characters were going to merge. Many people would not survive this merge, but if you did survive, you'd be able to meet your favorite superhero.
Dimensional merges? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Now, up to this point in our story, you could perceive Chris Chan as an unfortunate victim of the internet. A poor autistic man who fell into a dark corner of the internet where heartless trolls would get their rocks off by maliciously antagonizing him at every waking moment. It could be a reminder to be wary when putting yourself out there on the internet. Perhaps it's a lesson that you should not seek validation and fame from people on the internet that you do not know. Maybe even a message about the dangers of cyberbullying. Or a hilarious case of a lolcow who cannot stop embarrassing themselves for the entertainment of the strangers on the internet that watch.
I am going to shove your ass down your throat and make you eat your underwear!
Regardless of how you view it, the latest Chris Chan saga is why we are here today. Recently, Chris has been using his 80-year-old dementia-ridden mother to beg for money on the internet.
My name is Barbara Chandler. We need help. I'm asking you to buy this blanket. It will help us to buy food for the rest of the month. Thank you.
And buy everything else from Christine Chandler on eBay. Definitely the high-ticketed items as well. Jeez.
All it takes is one look into her eyes and you can tell she is not there. She is completely mentally vacant. Dementia is a terrible thing where you're like a prisoner in your own mind, you're having memory loss, you're disoriented. And with that in mind, check this out. Several days ago, Chris Chan admitted via text and phone call that he has been having sex with his own mother every 3 days. Listen to this call.
So yeah, she's got really sensitive G-spot because apparently I don't believe that Mr. C, any of her past boyfriends and ex-husbands, they haven't really reached and hit her G-spot really with their dicks. Approached her with care and caution, so I just gave her comfort and talked with her, and we just branched out slow and steady, and then I encouraged her positively, let her make the first move. She wanted to do it.
She did? Really? She made the first move?
Yeah. I think she was partially confused at one point, but then she came around, obviously.
You just listened to Chris Chan bragging about hitting his mentally deteriorated mother's G-spot to a stranger on the internet. I mean, Chris in high school went to prom with his poor mother, and now 21 years later, when she becomes mentally weak, he's sexually violating her for his own pleasure. Is this Chris's definition of completing his love quest? It turns out in 2016, Chris made a foreshadowing post addressing incestuous relationships with people's parents. In this post, he mentions he's had sex dreams about his mother and also defends a mother and son who were caught having an incestual relationship. I'll read you a few excerpts from this post. The child is over 18. The mother is unable to have any more children at the time. Birth control and protection is available and can be used. Plus, this offers a chance for better teaching the child how to better satisfy their eventual partners. The schools can only teach from books, not so much practice, and nobody wants to end up being a 20 or 30 plus year old virgin. I know that is a huge, enduring pain. He goes on to say, unless the sex act was abusive or hurtful or would result in an unwanted birth of a physical or mental challenged child, I would not judge or persecute the parent and child. Finishing the post by saying, do not send the mother and son to jail. You'd have to be sick in the head to make this shit up. Chris Chan's life is like some fucked up reality television show that just keeps delving deeper and deeper into depravity and fucked up weirdness. And check this out. In the wobble-dobble, topsy-turvy, fuck-all world we live in, Chris Chan is going to be imprisoned in a female-only facility. Like this is some kind of crazy 4D chess move he did to get around more gal pals and like fulfill his psycho love quest. Undoubtedly, the story of Chris's life is a complex and harrowing one. You know, for a while I didn't know what to think about Chris. Part of me pitied him. I'm watching him like, is this just a bunch of internet trolls bullying and harassing an autistic guy? You know, some of the entries on Encyclopedia Dramatica and Kiwi Farms are pretty fucked up. But one thing is for certain. No amount of cyberbullying would cause someone to sleep with their own dementia-ridden mother. The trolls are not at fault for this one, and I'm super curious to see how this saga plays out. Maybe this is the dimensional merge Chris talked about. I guess only time will tell. But until then, please do not have sex with your mother.
Soon we'll be able to transform into my Sanchu form.
You appear to be compliant.
I am Sanchu, your goddess blue heart, and I continue to stand strong, and I maintain everything with quick fill in my Sanchus and those shoes. Like I said, frisk me. There you go. I felt good. I open myself up to you damn bunch of internet trolls! You